Jessii and welcome back to my channel. So today, going off our whole theme on like dreaming and stuff that happens in your sleep and all of that stuff, because you know my channel is very directed in that department. I thought I would search up some creepy, true, real things that people have said in their sleep and have reported it, posted it online, talked about it. Yeah, guys, I just had a shower, so my hair is a little bit messy. It's gonna wave, it's gonna look good later on, but like, you know, your girl works, your girl has stuff to do. I don't have time to blow dry my hair and style it for this video. It's just not gonna happen. Deal with it. So I just like Googled like true real things that people have said in their dreams, like that story, that Reddit story that I read to you guys a couple videos ago of that girl who like became another person in their sleep and would talk to their husband or boyfriend as somebody else while they were sleeping. Super creepy. I wanted to like look up like some real stories of like people who have said things in there. It's very short, like just things that people have said in their sleep. So let's get into it. So one person wrote, "My girlfriend once sat upright in the middle of the night, looked directly at me and said, 'It will all disappear just like the ones you love.' She went to sleep again right after that, but I was too freaked out to go back to sleep and ended up going on Reddit for several hours." That is so creepy. I don't even know what I would do. Someone else said, "One of my mates has bad dreams. One time we were sleeping on some couches and I was just dozing off and he sits straight up and says, 'There are strangers in the corners,' and just slide back down slowly." I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. Some of these are anonymous, by the way, like these ones don't have names. Someone wrote, "My dad likes to tell me a story of him and my mom when they were young. It has been one of the first nights they spent together when my mom suddenly sits up in bed and stares in the direction of the closet in the complete darkness. My dad, not quite asleep, notices her and asks what's wrong. My mom turns to him, points to the closet, and whispers quietly, 'There's someone in the closet.' My dad gets out of bed, grabs something to defend himself with, and goes to the closet. Lo and behold, it's empty. When he turns on the light, my mom wakes up and returns to consciousness and gets angry at him. 'What are you up doing with this light on? Go to bed.' She lied down, rolls over, and falls asleep. My dad was left wondering, what the hell? Like, I don't blame your dad. That is crazy." Oh my gosh, this is so creepy. Someone wrote, "When I was about 7 or 13 years old, I slept in the same room as my little sister. My sister had night terrors during those 6 years, almost every night. Most of those night terrors consisted of me kicking and screaming of her kicking and screaming me to stop changing the channel. That didn't freak me out. What did was her asking for somebody called Jane. I've never met a Jane in my life, and my sister hasn't either. But she would walk around at night saying, 'Jane, Jane.' And if you tried to speak to her, she would say, 'Where's Jane? Where's Jane?' She would scream and cry about how she needed to find Jane. I felt so sorry for her because it was quite obvious that she seemed to think that Jane was in danger. One night, the whole Jane routine started again. By then, it had been going on for quite some time, so I was learning to tolerate it. My sister walked around the room whispering for Jane, and then she said, 'There you are,' while staring blankly at the wall. Hoping with all hope that there was no Jane in our bedroom, I moved out of our bedroom and stayed in the garage shortly after this occurred. My sister's night terrors stopped as soon as I left." I feel like I have the same thing to say every single time. It's just, thank God I don't have to deal with this. Someone wrote, "My ex once shook me awake in the middle of the night and told me, 'It's too late to run. They're already downstairs, but you need to get up, get up.' He looked awake and frightened, so I sat up and he picked up my pillow, installed it under his own head, and used his eyes again, completely asleep, and closed his eyes again, completely asleep." Honestly, like, The worst of them is when they say, like, there's something in the closet, or there's somebody in the house, or there's somebody downstairs. Like, even though they're sleeping, your first, like, initial reaction would be like, what the hell, you know? Somebody named Sue Daisy wrote, my 3-year-old daughter walked downstairs in the morning and said, look what I can do, and crossed her eyes. I asked her how she learned to do that, and she said, the boy taught me at night. She said, what boy? And the daughter said, the boy with the glasses, he did this. And she held her finger up and zoomed it to her nose and crossed her eyes. She said he laughed and laughed. Not too scary, right? Only that's how my brothers taught me to cross my eyes when I was 5 years old, and he died when I was 7 years old. Somebody called 2 Kids and 2 Pugs wrote, I have a 3-year-old daughter. She tells me that a red man comes into her room at night through her window. His name is Consequences, and he's mean to her. She said he hurts her and stares at her while she's in her bed. She says that he comes in a spaceship with other red men. I have no idea where she would get the material for the story, and she really believes it. I've locked her window for her and pulled the blinds all in an attempt to convince her that no one is getting in through her window. Sometimes in the morning she'll say, it didn't work, Mama. Consequences got in last night. Again, I hope it's a phase and it will pass. That honestly sounds like a lot of like symptoms of like what schizophrenia can cause, but you never know. I'm a pretty spiritual person. Someone called Charetta1216 said, I had to share a room with my 4-year-old for a few weeks. Mommy, when you were sleeping, I woke up and there was a ghost with no face standing over you, touching your arm. It was taking your dreams out of your body with its mouth. It reminds me of the Dementors from Harry Potter, but he's never watched it. A 4-year-old said that. Someone called Medievalista said, I lived alone in a cool but kind of creepy old house with my son, who must have had been close to 3 when this happened. I woke up one night because I heard him talking forcefully at something in his room, not quite yelling, but at a level above normal conversation. I go out of bed and went down the long hallway to his room to find him sitting in the corner of his bed, glaring into the opposite corner of the room. I asked him what was wrong, and without taking his eyes off that far corner, which was at my back, he pointed and said quietly and angrily, get that man out of my room. Every hair on my body stood up, and I reached over to flip on the light. There was no one there, of course. He said the man came into his room a lot and he hated him. His voice was absolutely full of anger when he talked about the man. Then he told me that there was a big brown rabbit that came and looked in his window every night. His bed was directly under a window, and he didn't like him. But he couldn't come in the house, so it was okay. He also claimed the house itself was a lady and it sang to him, which is a whole other story. I took him back to my room for the rest of the night. The next day, it was like it never happened, and he went back to sleeping in his own room. I'm convinced that 3-year-olds are conduits of some sort of dark weirdness. It's true, kids are very susceptible because they're such pure beings. Ooh, that's freaky. The house is a woman that sings to him. That is very interesting. That reminds me of Monster House. Someone by the name of One of Gus says, my sister used to sleepwalk. One night she came into my room and asked if she could sleep with me. I was playing video games and told her to go back to her room. She told me, you're gonna be sorry, and walked out. I look up and noticed she was sleepwalking because her eyes were closed while talking. Barricaded myself in that room that night with all the lights on. Someone wrote, when my sister was around 2 years old, my parents found her chilling with her head wedged in between 2 bars in the bed frame at the foot of her bed. It was weird because she wasn't crying or distraught, and when my mom asked her how she got her head stuck, she replied that the hands put her there. I grew up in a really old house, and that was 200 plus years old, and that added to the creepy factor. The hands put her there. Just the hands. Someone wrote, my son likes to wake up at night and come into our room, as he isn't really accustomed to sleeping alone yet. However, this one morning he was not in our bed. I felt happy that maybe he was getting used to it. And when we told him he was becoming a big boy for not sleeping in our room, he told us he was scared to come in and said that there was a man sitting on my side of the bed covered in black. Ah! That's so creepy! Oh my gosh, you guys. Yeah, that is crazy. If you guys have experienced any creepy things from other people or yourself while you're sleeping, any creepy sleep talking stories, anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. It's really fascinating to me. If you like this kind of a video, click that thumbs up button and click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell because I do make videos every single week. I love you guys so, so, so much. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Love you guys.